1. For telling my stepmom the reason I started disliking her 2 years ago is because she's pathetically jealous of my dead mom. My parents got divorced when I, 17F, was like 2 or 3 and my dad met my stepmom when I was 5. We got along really well and I grew to really think she was great. My mom liked her too. Mom died when I was 7 and from that point on I lived full-time with my dad and stepmom. Things were still good between me and my stepmom. She was never my mom but she was still my family and I always had a really good time with her when we were together. For the most part she was the fun person at dad's house and more like a support to him. He did the discipline for me and he was the one who set boundaries, she just helped enforce them. Dad told me he did that so I'd never resent her for coming in and acting like my mom. He said he felt that was super important after mom died. 2 years ago things changed. She was acting weird for a while and then when we were all together for Mother's Day with my dad's family she left the table during dinner at what seemed like a random time to me. But a while later I heard her talking to my aunt and my stepmom was like, "That woman's been dead for years and I've been here, raising her longer and I'm just the stepmom while that stupid B*TCH is still the one she recognizes every Mother's Day and she's the one people bring up to her." Stupid B*TCH and that woman were her words and so was most of that. I can't remember everything exactly because what she said was a lot longer. But she insulted my mom like 5 different times and her words were so full of jealousy. She also said my mom had contributed nothing to my life, had such a little impact on me and that's just not true. Her whole thing was that she's done more for me and should be taking the place my mom does. It made me really dislike her. I was cold and distant with her after that and she was so snarky about my mom and it really only happened after that Mother's Day. My half-siblings picked up on it too. So did my dad but he didn't really do anything about it. There was a day not super long after hearing what I did when my stepmom told me to do a project in my room and get the fucking mess off the table. I was doing a family tree and we needed to use pictures and I was trying to find one of mom that I could make fit with others. The table was more messy the day before when I worked on it but I didn't add mom until last because I have like a love-hate relationship going through photos of her. There were still times my stepmom tried to act like we were as good as we had ever been and I iced her out. It's taken 2 years for her to bring that up to me and the other night she asked me about it because I avoided her promotion party and didn't congratulate her or anything. She said it's like I suddenly realized I was a teen and started hating her for no reason. I told her it wasn't for no reason. I started disliking her because she's pathetically jealous of my mom and I heard everything she said 2 years ago. She was mad at me for listening to her vent and more mad that it didn't make me feel bad and start making her feel better about things. I told her she deserved no reassurances from me for talking about mom that way. She told me my attitude needed a lot of work and complained to dad about me. She's saying I owe her an apology now for bringing it all up to her and saying I didn't like her over a private conversation I was never supposed to hear. AITA? 2. AITA for asking my husband's Italian friend to cook for herself and told her I would not eat her food. My husband's friend flew in from Bellagio, Italy a week ago, and, as much as I tried, I could not make her happy with any type of home cook, or even restaurants in Melbourne. Took her out to restaurants, we wanted to introduce her to the variety of food we have. No sushi, no Thai food, no Chinese, because Italian food is the best. We went out for Italian 3 days in a row. She complained about pasta, about cheese, anything is just not as good as in Italy. She complained about the wine not tasty enough. She got mad when I dared to order a cappuccino at 4 p.m. because we don't drink cappuccino after 12 p.m. I was just like, yeah, I drink WTH I want at the time I want. Coffee was either too burn or not hot enough. We went to Kohl's to do some shopping, straight away complained about no authentic Italian pastas, and in the middle of the aisle, decided to teach me how properly say the name of each pasta. We decided to cook at home today. Mind you, I am Asian. I love my spices and I love flavorful dishes. I decided to cook what I know best, did not think it would be a bad idea. She came, and the first thing she said was, "Your house smell bad, fish sauce," and she proceeded to ignore my dish and asked my husband to take her out for some lasagna. When she got back she told me I should learn how to cook Italian dishes, because it is not good for my husband to always eat fusion food. Online recipes are just stupid for straying away from the root, WTF? I was so mad and did not mince words. I told her how arrogant and obnoxious to think Italian food are the best, told her Italian are not the best, and we would not take her out for any Italian meals, she could go shopping for herself, cooked it, and enjoyed alone. Sorry but the ingredients would not be as good as in Italy, but she was in another country, be grateful for what she could find. She cried and decided to leave early. My husband tried to tell me that she is set in her way, she does not travel that much all her life. 60 years, this is the second time she travels out of the country, the last time was to Germany, and it was well over 25 years ago. He told me maybe I should just say sorry to her just to smoother the situation. I refused, told him if she cannot live without her Italian heritage for just a few weeks, there is no point for me to convince her to like me anyway. So AITA? 3. AITA for not taking my father's minor children into consideration when I sued him for the inheritance he stole from me. My mom died when I, 22F, was 10 and in her will she left me an inheritance of more than 100K. My dad was left in charge of it, but after he remarried, him and his wife wanted to start a business together and they used the money mom left me to open it. Dad and I argued about it at the time, but I was 15 and he kept insisting it was good for the whole family and how it was better used to help everyone than being thrown away on random shit when I turned 18. Our relationship was over before I moved out of his house at 18. I had made his and his wife's life miserable for stealing from me, and once I was out of there I looked into how I could get that money back. I pressed charges against him for stealing from me and I sued him for the money. I had the support of my entire extended family on my maternal side and some on my paternal side. But I was told by others on the paternal side to consider my dad's other kids and the devastation that kind of financial upheaval could bring. I ignored those comments. I knew waiting would prevent me from ever getting the money, and I honestly did not care about his family's financial security after being stolen from. It was a long-ass process and I needed to return to court a few times because he was just like, I can't pay, I don't have the money anymore. In the end they were forced to give up the business and it was sold to pay me the money back, and he had to pay additional out of his paycheck, which made him empty their savings so his wages weren't garnished anymore. By the time I got it back I was 100% done and past the point where we could ever reconcile. He made me fight so hard for what was legally mine and he stole money mom left to support his new family. My relationship with some of dad's side is not so strong anymore and they think it was wrong that I focused only on what he did and not on the effects for the kids. I mostly don't talk to those family members now, but they ask me how I feel. Zero guilt for it when the kids are innocent and are still my siblings technically. That they would have thought I'd want better for them. I don't feel bad. I never have. But AITA for not taking the kids into consideration? Is that something I should have done? I feel like that's just really unfair to me and locks me into never being paid back. I don't think I owe those kids that. 4. AITA for telling my husband he will have to handle it on his own right now. I am 36F, my husband is 40. My mama, 82, has breast cancer. This is her third time having it and she's too tired to do chemo again. She is refusing it. She is tired of fighting and wants to go out with dignity at home. My mama is hands down the best person and mama I could have ever had. I don't think she has ever once raised her voice. She is the most caring person I've ever met. She is just as good of a grandmother as well. There are 14 of us and I am the youngest. She raised 14 babies and 27 grandbabies, 6 great-gran and probably just as many friends of babies and grandbabies. Never once raising her voice or hands to one of them. She is incredible. She and my dad have been together for 64 years and I know as soon as mama goes daddy will be right behind her. He looks like he has aged 10 years in just a few weeks. He's still doing everything he can for mama, but neither of them are doing well. All of my siblings and I have been taking turns staying with them around the clock. On the days I'm there I am pretty much just making sure my kids are good for the night, fixing them dinner and then going over there. My husband is supposed to get them to bed and then off to school in the morning. It isn't difficult, my kids know what to do, all he has to do is get them to bed and fix them a breakfast in the morning and wait with them for the bus. This has been a problem and my husband is angry about it. He feels like I am spending too much time away from home and putting too much on his plate. I'm already devastated about losing my mama. I don't have the best amount of patience right now. The last time my husband and I got into an argument I'd just gotten home with the kids after taking them to spend an hour with my parents. I had them dinner fixed, all it needed was to be warmed up. My husband got angry that I was dropping the kids off and leaving and I basically went off on him and told him my mama is dying and he is just going to have to deal with it right now. Since then we haven't spoken, he's basically giving me the silent treatment. I'm upset about everything going on and very angry with my husband right now. However, IDK if I was in a hole for going off on him. I don't think he fully deserved it and we haven't spent time apart since we got married 12 years ago, so maybe I was being in a hole. I know it isn't easy for him right now either, but I really expected him to step up and help considering the circumstances. I mean they are his kids after all. He should be able to handle it. Subscribe and smash that notification button.